Hello, everybody. Look at my co-host, Rod Morehead. Woo! Welcome, everybody.
Howdy.
I want to say hi to, let's see, Roger, Catherine, Levon, Gary. Oh, look at all these people coming in, and they all love you, Ron. Denise. Yeah, they sure do. Happy birthday, Penny. Who else do we have? Harley. Hey, Harley. Val. John. Let's see. Who else do we have? We have Gary. Did I say Gary? Gary Spikes. He's such a great, we have such great mom. Hi, Arla. And I think we're good then. I'm sorry if I forgot anybody. Judy, did I say hi to Denise? All right. I think I got everybody. And folks, remember, Laura's here. Hi, Laura. Yeah, Paranormal Pixie. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Katrina. If you all could just put your, if you have any questions, make sure that you try to put them all in all caps. If you have any questions for Ron, because then I'm working the whole technical area of it as well today. Excuse me, Grizzly's traveling. He may stop in, but anyway, I'm not used to doing this all myself, so I apologize. But yeah, it's going to be a great show. I mean, how could it not be? It's just, I've been so excited. And I was telling everybody that, Ron, I was telling everybody that I was just so nervous because I don't normally get nervous, but I really, really am. It's such an honor to be able to,
Well,
to
thank
be able
you.
to have.
It's my honor to be with you. I appreciate.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Appreciate all that.
I have to say, and you're such a nice person. I bought your set of book, or the book with the set of the Sierra sounds. The first one, the voices in the wilderness, right? I bought that through, I believe, Amazon, and the code that Amazon gave me I wasn't able to listen, to the sounds, because you ask us when we go through the book to, like at this part, listen to these sounds and whatnot. And so the codes weren't working. And I just thought, what am I going to do? So I emailed your website, and you literally answered me like within an hour. I was so impressed with that. I really, really was so impressed with that, Ron. I mean, gosh, talk about service.
Some people go to my website instead of the little line down below my website, which is actually the link to the sounds.
Okay. And, all right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know that now.
At the time, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they were at the time, but anyway, that was so I have that one. I've read all your books, because you did have 3 books, right? And then I read Quantum Bigfoot, and just got done with your most recent, Bigfoot Unveiled. And they're all fantastic. Fantastic books. You're welcome. Hey, One's here too. So let's get right into it. So back in, was it 1971? Is that right? That you actually recorded the Sierra sounds, right? Am I correct on the date?
The first ones, yeah. We record every year through 74.
Okay.
And, so we have a lot of recordings. We just took out the better ones to produce the CDs and whatever. But anyway, we have a lot of redundant sounds too, because all of us were recording up there. And Al Berry is the one who really fostered the studies that made him credible, because we knew they were doing something with us up there at the Sierra camp, but we didn't know how significant it was. Al Berry had a master's degree in science, and he knew how important it was that we have this thing looked at. So he got the electrical sound engineer to study them for a year, and it was Dr. Kerr at the University of Wyoming, and showed that there was no manipulation, there was no 60-cycle hum, which would have shown pre-recording, re-recording. There was no alteration in the speed or anything like that going on. So that was a big deal. It wasn't enough to get academia on board, even though he's a professor that's written over 100 papers. The guy's
right.
Quite substantial, and for him to come out with that, and nice. He was supposed to just give an unbiased opinion on what it was. He said, these are not manipulated. They're real. Whatever. And outside the human range and inside the human range, according to the graph that he drew. And also they represented an animal over 8 foot tall. At least one little piece that he studied was compared to the human vocal mechanism.
Okay. Wow. That's so interesting. And then when did you get Scott Nelson? When did you get him involved?
Well, he got us involved. He came out all the way from Missouri.
Okay. Oh, all right. Okay.
He heard these sounds by accident. Scott Nelson's a crypto-linguist who
Yes.
thought he heard language in this. He's trained by the military as a crypto-linguist to study unusual sounds and see if there's any manipulation, and see if there's a language in them or just a code or anything like that. And he was a 2-time graduate of the. I got a lightning storm going on here.
Oh no! Okay. Are you okay? Okay.
So far, it takes us time getting down here sometimes.
Yeah, the East Coast in there. Ooh. I grew up on the East Coast,
close.
but I live in Washington State now. Yeah, and yeah, we don't have that many thunderstorms out here.
I know. I lived out there all my life.
Yeah.
It's a little different here. When it rains, it rains. It's like a flood coming down. It clears up the sunshines.
Right.
Anyway, Scott Nelson got a hold of him, and he heard what he thought was language, but he came all the way out from Missouri, where we was teaching foreign languages at a college there, and interviewed a couple of us and asked if he could look at the original sounds. And so he convinced us that he was real. And because I've had a lot of people tell me that they know what they're saying, but none of them's got the credentials that he has. So very well vetted. And he came back and said that they have a language by the human definition of language, which means a morpheme stream of words like I'm talking now. And then you got Dr. Lieberman at Brown University says only humans have that vocal mechanism that can create sapient speech like we're doing. That puts it in a ballpark that I think they have to have a human component to them. Right. And I say that in my last book, that I think I've convinced myself anyway that there's no doubt about it. They have to have it. If they're speaking language, and they are speaking language. Unless you're going to challenge professors and linguists and all these people that have been looking at these things for years, right. I let the facts stand behind them. So anyway, that's what got me on your program today. Yeah. Keeps me going nowadays. It's all I do now is.
You actually have a lot of things going on, though, right? You just finished up. Is it Flash of Beauty? Now I know that they did a special on you. Flash of Beauty, Ron Morehead. But are they doing something? Producing something about voices in the wilderness? Did I see that somewhere? And I hope that's true.
It's supposed to be about the Sierra Camp, but that's also me, because that's where I was, and the other guys too. Yeah, they got to interview Bill McDowell, my good friend. Him and I were the packing guys for horses and mules, and also Lewis Johnson, who's still alive. He's in his 90s now, but he's on that too. That teaser that they got out. Yeah, they should have that completed sometime next year. Probably they're still trying to catch some more interviewers.
I can't wait to see that.
Oh, it's going to be good. Yeah, they're really good at this.
Wow. So when you first were you went out, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, you went out to the camp. They were kind of having a issue. They were having a hard time, right? They didn't know what was happening. And you decided to go out to the camp kind of to, listen in and see what, you had no idea what this was, right? Nobody knew what these were. Is that right?
Well, right. The Johnson brothers had the first encounter in early 71. They came out with the story that there's some kind of a monster up there. Nobody's looking for Bigfoot. It's a hunting camp. It had been since 1958 for the Johnsons. And anyway, the other guys, which I wasn't a part of, I was just friends with them all. They all went up. I made 5 of them. There was 3 more. Bill McDowell and Donald Hilton and Larry, Warren's son. And they all went up to see what was going on. And sure enough, it started happening again. And I was leaving food out and had their guns cocked. They didn't know what was going to happen to them. They weren't sure, but they had to know. They're very woodsy people outdoors. And anyway, Donald got spooked out. The first night he was there, he just left. The next morning, left him a note, and he had to get away because he's very religious. He didn't know how to put that in his paradigm, because the Nephilim, the giants, are not supposed to live nowadays. They're supposed to be not here.
Right.
And that's what he was related to, because he's a very biblical person, as we all were. We're all Christian people. And anyway, he came out and said, the Johnsons were right. There's some kind of monster up there. I'm not going back. And the wives were worried because the guys didn't come out when they were supposed to the next day. So they said, well, Donald, you got to go back and see if they're okay. They didn't know if they got eaten or what. So he said, well, he would only go back if I went with him. So that's how I got involved. And that was 71. And quite imposing to get there, but we got there. And the guys were okay. In fact, they were just packing up to get out. And that was quite a trip.
So did you end up staying? You end up staying, obviously, to hear these things.
No, I did not. No, they're leaving. We all left.
Okay. So then when did you go?
No,
then did you
I started going back as often as I could get somebody to go with me. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually Bill or Warren or somebody would go back with me. And of course, they was interested too, even though it was just for hunting, but they knew something else was up there. It wasn't a bear. It wasn't anything they ever ran into before. Plus, they saw the big tracks. And when I got there the first time, I heard the book of what they'd recorded the night before. I saw the huge track, one of them that was there. That was pretty interesting, but thank goodness Bill had a horse and he let me ride it out because my legs were rubber. It's such an imposing trip. It's 8 miles in the wilderness, about 84 feet in elevation. So it's a pretty good trek and very imposing in some areas.
Yes, it's not. Reading it, I had no idea. There's your thunder again. Thunder. Yeah, I had no idea.
Spare me.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea that it was. I mean, that was really a trek for you guys to get back into that camp. Wow. Had you been there before? Had you been to the camp before? Okay.
No,
all right.
Hardly anyone had, because very close, tight circle of people that went there. It was just the 5 that I mentioned.
Yeah.
And anyway, I started going, and so I made the 6th person, but then it went back down to 5 because Donald didn't go back anymore. Okay. And then we took Al Berry in. Al Berry was an investigative reporter we took in 1972. We heard about the story through Ivan Sanderson, Crypto-Linguistic, and also Peter Byrne heard about it on the West Coast. He got a hold of Al Berry. So Al, being in California, he said, you might want to investigate this. But they all thought it was just somebody pulling their leg. And I didn't know all this, so I read the papers from Al Berry later, the correspondence they were having. And anyway, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The story's interesting, but
yeah. What did you think when you first heard them, with your own, your own ears? I mean, hearing a recording is one thing, but what did you?
What did I think? I don't remember what I thought. I was just a lot of, excitement. You don't know because you're inside this shelter, this log shelter, and it's just a bunch of trees grew in a circle. They wrapped a cable around it and let deadfall up among it on the cable. Same thing across the top. They put plastic over that and then deadfall over that, so it looked like a big beaver's nest, really. It's just one log that fit between 2 trees, and that was the doorway. So that's what we went into, and then when we go in there, they would start playing with us. I say playing with you because it's like we were trying to trick them all the time, but they were messing with us, I think. But they never attacked us. They sounded pretty aggressive, and they might have been. I'm not sure what was going on in their minds because you can only hear the vocalizations that we were recording. So you can only imagine that they were pretty angry. But it sounded like there was a male very angry about us being there, and maybe the female, because there was a male and female arguing out there, according to another linguist that listened to him. And she says they were arguing about something. Nobody knows what. Nobody knows what they were saying. Golly, I get hit by lightning, you'll know what happened.
Oh no! Oh gosh! Oh, I hope not. Oh no! Yes, Daryl Denton Ron is a great friend to me, and he's such a wealth of knowledge.
Oh, he's a brother.
Yeah, he's great.
Nice guy.
Yes, he really
Those
is.
guys took me into the land between the lakes this last year. Earlier this year, I guess it was.
I was
speaking.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. Yeah, about did you experience anything there at Land Between the Lakes?
Well, I didn't personally. They have. They took me out at
Mhm.
night and hoping I
Yeah.
would, but
Mhm.
uh, you can't make that stuff happen. It either happens
Right.
or it doesn't.
Yep.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
I
It's
tell
just the
people
way
that
it
they're
happens.
trying to make a Bigfoot experience, and you can't make one happen. You just got to have the
Mhm.
right frequency, I think, within you, and have the right attitude, and uh, just certain things you can and can't do. But they're good guys, and they definitely had some encounters there, and there's been a lot,
Mhm.
lot going on there
Mhm.
in the past. And they took me to some of the
Yes.
spots where things had happened there, and
Mhm.
I'm going back with them again probably later this year
Oh, great.
because it's
Great.
close to me now down in Tennessee. Plus, my son lives
Yeah.
down there, so
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Okay. All right. John Lamb is asking, Ron, with their ability to drain batteries and zap cameras, do you wonder why they let you record them?
No, I don't. I don't know why, because
Mhm. Yeah, we don't.
they zapped our recorders since then.
Yeah.
And then one night when I was up there, and this was in 2011, uh, I tried to record them, and my brand new lithium battery was dead.
Oh.
And I checked it out before I took it out of the package, put it in there, checked everything's fine, my little recorder, and then when they started chattering, it wouldn't work.
Mhm. Mhm.
And what do you do with that? Plus, Scott
Yeah.
Nelson, I think, had some issues with that. Yeah, in fact, I'm sure
We're,
he did.
yeah. Oh, I just saw some lightning on your end. Yeah. You're in,
Oh,
somebody had asked where you're at. You're in North, is it North Carolina or South Carolina?
North Carolina, right on the border of the South. My
Okay.
gosh.
Whoa. Ooh. Ron, we have another question from Jane from Chiro. Ron, have you heard them speak English, as in saying hello?
Well, I can't say I have. No, I have not heard him speak anything other than what we've recorded, and that's an
Mhm.
unknown language,
Mhm.
according to Scott Nelson. However, there may be
Yeah.
a mixture of different things. I don't know. No one's able to tell us what they say, just
Mhm.
that it is a language by the human definition. And that's kind of interesting right there, because I've been raised
Yes.
religiously, and I know biblical scriptures fairly well. And your word is very important because you create with your word. Nobody ever sees
Mhm.
the original of anything. You just see what somebody thought of, then they painted the picture, then you saw it, and you think you saw the original picture, but no, it was first created.
Yes. Right.
So,
Right.
and anyway, it's interesting how that works. I think
Yes.
we create our
Yes.
future from our memories, and
Yeah,
because we
that's
base
true.
everything in the conditioning of our brain. Everybody's been conditioned from birth to believe this, not believe that, da da da, back
Mhm.
and forth.
Mhm.
And I didn't get into about the batteries. Did I cover that for that guy?
I'm
Uh,
losing. I don't know if it's
why
me.
they?
Wait.
I think they need
You
energy. Number one, if we
Yeah.
want
Mhm. Oh, yeah. You're
there
cutting
we
out, and I
are.
don't know if it's me. Are you? Are you? Yeah. I don't know. What does everybody say in the chat? I don't know if it's me cutting out or if it's
We got
Ron.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're. Yeah. We're good. We're good. Yep. I think so. Trying to see if. Yep. It seems like we are. What do you guys think in the chat? Let us know. But yeah, what were we saying? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just you were kind of, yeah, breaking up. Okay. All right. So probably obviously with your weather. Yeah. Um
Could
so
be. Yeah.
when you I want to get into kind of like with your books. Okay, you wrote the first book, which was the introduction, Voices in the Wilderness, and told about, how it came to be. That's just such an amazing book. I would recommend that to anybody. Then with the second one, which is Quantum Bigfoot, right? How did that come about? What made you want to share that information?
Well, there was strange things happening. There were strange things happening when these things were around up there. And I mean, things you couldn't attribute to them necessarily, but it was happening when they were there.
Mhm.
Golly.
Yeah, that's whew.
And, anyway, Al Berry, who had the master's degree in science, he said, "Do not talk about the strange stuff." It's a long time. We didn't talk about how things were happening up there, things we couldn't explain that was in classical science.
Mhm.
So we didn't talk about it for a long time, except to our family and friends. And of course, it's kind of nutty stuff, you know. It gets into the woo-woo land. At least that's
Well,
what people said. So
yeah, but
a long
it
time I
is
was
what it
considered a
is.
woo-wooer. Now I'm just a citizen science.
Yes, and
I
see, I
call myself
love
a
that. I
citizen
love that.
physicist because I've
Mhm.
looked into it enough to know how they can do what they do. Because according to quantum,
Oh,
yeah,
I don't know.
over the
Yeah.
years, I've talked to a lot of people. I've been worldwide with this stuff, and a lot of strange things happen with people, and there's nobody answering those questions because
Mhm.
they can't make sense of them. You know how to. One time we thought our camp was being torn apart. I talk about this stuff a lot. And you look outside and nothing's happened, nothing's changed.
Mhm. Well,
Wow.
yeah.
If I lose you, we'll have to catch up some other time.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
just uh, just other stuff, lights and anomalies, sounds that are not vocalizations. They're just sounds that don't belong. Like I think I mentioned with David Pilates when he was up there filming that I heard a car door slam outside the shelter. Oh, come on,
Yes.
we're 8 miles in the wilderness. No, there's no way you're going to get a car up there, number
Right.
one. You just
Exactly.
drop it in with a helicopter.
Yeah, exactly.
Heck, I would
I
doubt
have
if anybody even get anybody could even, go ahead.
yeah,
I'm
I have
just
them on my
talking about a
living around
motorcycle.
me,
I
and
don't even,
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're talking over you. I'm so sorry, Ron. I'm talking over you. Go ahead. Finish what you I'm sorry.
oh
Go
no,
continue,
keep
please.
talking.
No, I was just
Your
gonna say
show
that I
too. I
have
just happen
them.
to be on it.
No, but this is what it's all about is you, believe me. I have I guess you'd say like a habituation situation here. They I started to get like irrefutable evidence in 2022, and it's just kind of escalated since then. And I really appreciate what you're saying, because I mean, I will, I'll hear things, I'll see things. I can go out and take pictures or take videos, and then when I review them, they're like right there. They're a couple feet from me, just sitting looking at me. And I'm like, what I don't know what to say about this. And it's funny, excuse me, because you've said that you have to kind of raise your vibrational frequency. Is that you talk about that in your book, right? Your
Well, either
books.
that or they lower theirs, one or the other.
Oh,
They have to
okay,
be on the
okay.
same frequency.
Gotcha.
That's how we communicate telepathically and how you hear them when they're not talking. They're on
Okay.
your frequency, and they can tune into it's called quantum entanglement. And I think
Oh,
that's how a
yes.
lot of animals do, like birds are flocking together, all turn at the same time, and fish doing the same thing and swimming together in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you wonder they're not talking to each other; they're just entangled with each other. And I think
Yeah.
we're able to do all that too. We just have not fostered it or not engaged it enough. A lot of us can, but I think it's all about balancing your system. Your chakras and getting your pineal gland active with your heart, which it is all the time anyway. You get those heart feeling, the gut feeling that you get,
Mm-hmm.
and it talks directly to the brain. You get a feeling here that says, "Oh, Mrs. Jones over there needs help." But
Mm-hmm.
then your analytical brain that's been conditioned says, "No, there's more money over here. Let's go over there and don't help Mrs.
Yeah.
Jones." But your heart says, "Go do that." And I believe in following the heart and following what your heart's saying because it has its own brain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just very important, I think, that we balance all those things, get them in sync with each other. Because the pineal gland, I believe, is your door opening to your body, embodiment. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what will tell your heart what to do because you get the feelings from the universe out there. And you're supposed to go by those, I think. I think it's
Yeah.
more important that more people do that. And you'll always be right when you do that, and you'll be better off,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what your
Yeah,
conditioned brain says.
right. Yeah, you had mentioned that that you think that we had this a lot of these abilities to do things, speak to, telepathically, that we do, but we've kind of lost them. And you attribute
Yeah.
it to, what is it, calcification of the pineal gland? Is that what
That
you're?
has a lot to do with it, yes. Our diets, especially the
Mhm,
last 100 years, have given us stuff that calcifies the pineal gland, and it makes it harder for information to get through.
mhm,
And first thing you know, you're not trusting what does come through.
mhm,
And it's just, I think, well, 100 years ago, people were growing their own gardens too.
mhm.
They weren't eating processed beef and
Right.
uh, modified food. So I
Mhm,
think it's important that we all eat. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's
mhm.
to eat uh,
Yeah,
non-altered
GMO.
beef,
Yeah.
chicken, and
Mhm.
GMO.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
getting harder and harder to find, but I agree. Yeah. Um,
Well, you just got
yes.
to find a grocery store that cares about it. And
Yes.
uh,
Mhm,
that's important. And also, most fluoride is found in water. City water has a lot of fluoride. Yes, a lot of them do. And
mhm.
some states have already outlawed that because it does
Yeah.
affect you. When I
Mhm.
was young in school, that was 100 years ago, fluoride was the thing to do. That's what you brush your teeth with. That's what you
Mhm.
gargle with. You did all that stuff. So,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's a way of dumbing us way down.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah. So with diet,
but,
is there anything else? Are there any other steps that people could take to kind of, get that um working, that
I'll just
gland
get on the
working?
right thing. Well, personally, I've been on kind of a carnivore diet. I get off it a
Uh-huh.
little bit, but
Yeah.
that's
Gotcha.
caused you to lose
Okay.
weight, and your body
Mhm.
gets synced into that. Easy diet
Mhm.
doesn't hurt.
Yes, I
Doesn't
agree.
hurt at
Yeah.
all. You just got to lay
Yeah.
off the ice cream, the corn, and the bread,
Yes,
stuff
right.
like that.
Yep, yep.
and,
Yeah.
but it's easy diet,
Mhm. Yes, and it really
and
is, just all the
you
way
can.
around. It's much healthier, right? Yeah.
There's a lot of information on it, how beneficial it is, because we're carnivores. Human beings are
Mhm.
carnivores. We're mammals. So
Mhm.
we were raised that way, and I mean we're supposed to be raised that way, and
Yes.
so we're supposed to eat meat.
Mhm.
A lot of people are vegetarians, but that's okay if it's working for them, I guess. But it's not okay for
Mhm.
me.
Yeah, yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to do what's right for what body I got left. I
Mhm.
don't know how long I'm
We
gonna
have
be
a
around these
question.
days.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's amazing, fantastic. We want to keep you around as long as possible, so keep doing what you're doing, please.
Thank you for that.
Of course. So we had a question from Sunny. Ron, did you see Bigfoot's teeth when it growled or gnarled at you? Because and then she said, are their teeth like ours or are they sharp like canines? Do you have any idea?
I I did not see that. No, I
I
saw
yeah,
one, but I didn't see it growling.
the
It was the
teeth.
night I recorded the samurai cry, and
Mhm.
that's really the only time I've seen one really moving around. And he was shooting down to two more with like an adolescent and a female. However, uh, heard that Wes Germer on Sasquatch Chronicles,
Oh yeah.
episode 515. He's got an interview from a woman from England who was over here on business. Very, very interesting. I called her. I got her over her and talked to her personally myself. And she had quite an experience over on the coast of California when she saw five of these things walking down the beach. She was
Wow.
sitting on rocks ready to take a picture of the sunset, and it growled at her. I mean, when it hurt her,
Mm.
she dropped the lens cover off her camera because she no one's going to believe me. 'Cause she
Right.
was just
Oh my gosh.
stunned, like you would be, because she didn't know anything about Bigfoot. And
Oh
when
my
she started
gosh.
taking pictures, she dropped the lens cover off and it hit the rocks. And this thing was in the water, pulling up seaweed and throwing it to two females on the bank, on the on the beach.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, he seen her and heard that, and he just screamed, and started
Mm.
coming towards her, and she thought she
Mhm.
was dead. She thought this is it because it was really aggressive sounding. And she said it had teeth, like not big
Mhm.
canines, but just, I mean,
Like human.
she drew
Kind
me a
of.
picture actually. Yeah, yeah. And
But just
the
big,
only thing that
real
stopped
big.
it was the females. The females
Oh.
stopped it from coming after her. She fainted, and she claimed
Oh,
she was probably within 20, 25 feet of it, and she was evidently dragged back to her car up on the bluff, and she don't remember it because she was out. she turned the report in, and she went through a lot trying to get people to believe her, but then the plainclothesman came in and said, "No, you didn't. You saw a bear."
Yeah, of
But she's a
course,
linguist.
right.
I found out she's a linguist, versed in 7 languages, and she's very
Wow.
credible, very, very academic, and I just believed her all the way. She even sent me her credentials.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's
so
fascinating.
anyway, so they have teeth, but I got to say something up front here, though. I don't think they're all the same. These things are not
Yes,
all
you
of the same.
said that. Yeah.
They have to be different. I've been, like I say, all over the world. I've been down in Peru and Nepal and Bolivia and these places, and all these stories are a little different. And the trackways are different. Their tracks can be different, and their sightings are different. And I think, of course, I go back in my book all the way back into the Anunnaki, which are the powerful ones from the sky. And it's in the cuneiform text, which is the oldest written language known to man up to date.
Yes.
And they say that these powerful ones came down from the sky who were able to do things, and they changed. I think according to the cuneiform text, they changed the genome of species on this planet. And that fits so much with what I've read in the Bible. The first few verses, first 2 chapters of Genesis, talks about the fallen ones, the watchers that turned against they took on this density, this 3rd degree density that we live in, and became that, but they could still do their powers. And we had powers similar to that. But I think Bigfoot, the first ones, were made by them long before Homo sapiens were made. Because we're hybrids, we don't want to get into it. Really. They said, let us make man in our image. Well, that's the Anunnaki. And that's the negative Anunnaki, because there's also positive ones. There's don't tell us how many billions of our existence. I believe them to be 9th dimensional beings. And I believe that, I got a lot of beliefs. But we could talk about whatever you want to talk about.
No, I love that. We did have a question, though. Do you feel that they can humans feel their energy? Levon wants to know.
Well, I think you can if you open yourself up to it.
I think so, yeah. I would have to say.
Because we're all energetic. Well, we're all energetic people. We are energy. At the most minute level of our existence, we're all energy vibrating at a frequency. And like Tesla said, you understand energy, frequency, and vibration. And that's what we are made of. Everything is made of that. And according to Einstein, if you find the frequency of anything, you can change its matter. Well, that's a hard one to get your head around. Other than I think that's how masters did the miracles. They know the frequency, and they could just tune into it like that. These things have been given that ability. I think some of them. Some of them can change their energy into their matter into energy and cloak or disappear. And that's established by Dr. Paul Dirac and Einstein. But Paul Dirac won the Nobel Prize in 1933 for antimatter. Antimatter is the direct exchange between matter and energy. Energy and matter, they're interchangeable. He won the Nobel Prize. And that was established by CERN in 2012 with the Hadron Collider. When 2 particles collided and it formed energy. You don't see energy, though. You only sense it. They can sense it. So anyway, it gets into that stuff. And I also get into, I think, Tesla's manifestation code of 369. I think I understand that. I read about that in my last book, too. And you want to hear that one? I'll tell you that one. I'm proud of it because I haven't heard it from anywhere else. But
yes,
369 is if you understand.
Yes, go ahead, please. Yeah, tell us. Yeah.
If you understand the significance of 369, you'll understand the universe. Well, to me, this fits right in. 3rd dimension is what we're in now, our 3rd density. We live in a 3rd density environment. You have to go to the 6th dimension before you understand everything and are able to create and do a lot of things. That's where I think a lot of aliens are, in the 5th and 6th dimension. And then you have to go to the 9th dimension. Then you can go on to the 9th dimension, which is the 369. But we're made to be like the Anunnaki. 9th dimensional beings. Yes. That's I like that one. I really like that.
That is amazing. Yes.
I don't know if it's right or not, but it sure sounds right.
Yeah, it's a good,
Because we're made in the image of God. And if you're made in the image of God, by the way, God is plural. And if you're made in the image, we have all the abilities that we're not using. I think our telomeres have been cut down so we can't live as long as we used to. Men used to live hundreds of years. but they've stripped their telomeres somehow. Science is going to have to learn how to reestablish that, or something's going to happen. We're living in a really unique time. Aliens are being seen more and more often. All this stuff's coming out right now. It's a good time to live.
Yes.
Good
And I
time
think
to
a
be in
lot
your
more people
30s.
are they're yeah, well. in your 30s, I'm beyond that. But
Me too. A little
yeah.
bit.
Hey, that's okay, right? It's still a great time to be, to be alive. But there are so many people that are having a bunch of, like you said, a bunch of experiences, and
Yeah.
we can't deny that. We have another question: is there a difference between being hit with infrasound versus feeling their energy? Some think was hit recently, but I didn't get the effect others had. I guess she's saying she thought that, yeah, she was hit recently, but she didn't get the effect others had.
What kind of effect, I wonder? Yeah. Or she didn't have. Well, the effect could be synced into your frequency. And if she didn't have the right frequency, they wouldn't, or maybe they didn't need to. But yeah, they can do infrasound. I'm quite sure. We don't know the total expansiveness of their vocal mechanism. We just know they can go way high above ours, what we're capable of doing. They can go down below us into infrasound. They also can be inside our box of we speak. So they can mimic us. They can mimic just about anything. However, we don't know the scope of their language ability, their frequency ability. And actually change any sound to the 49th octave, and it changes into light. That's kind of a cool thing.
Yes, very.
So sound can be converted to light too. You hear a lot of these things disappearing, and they see a orb or something, a ball, light.
Like a flash.
We've had balls.
Yeah.
Well, or a steady ball. I mean, we had steady balls up there sometimes.
Yeah, you
right,
did. No. Balls of light, orbs, whatever.
Yeah.
We have another question. Do you have an opinion on Dogman?
Yeah, I do. I think if the Anunnaki Bigfoot can exist, Dogman can exist, because I think that's what a lot of things around Skinwalker Ranch has happened to. And they've had a wolf there that couldn't kill, and I know Daryl Denton, who you mentioned before, and him and Martin Groves, they've both seen them, and those guys are credible, so very credible.
Yes.
And I mean, when Martin Groves was a retired deputy too, 30 years of service, very, very nice people, very intelligent people, and they said we saw one. They said they saw one. They also see Bigfoot in the land of between the lakes, so it's kind of a joint something going on there. But the Dogmans seem to be pretty aggressive in that area. But I hear them all the way up into Canada. If you want to see a Dogman, we got some up here, but they're not aggressive. So I think it depends on the agenda that whatever made them planted in their DNA. Because they do manipulate the DNA of different species on this planet.
And do you think that yes, that they were that the same masters to manipulate the Bigfoot or the Sasquatch, you think they're the same with the Dogman? Or no, or you think it's different?
Same like methodology.
Methodology, okay, yeah, but not the same.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Core creators or whatever. Yeah. So we have another. Ron, do you think the fact that they changed the frequency on radio and other media forms could be why we lost some of the gifts we had, and that it could be affecting our health?
Well, I don't know. I think we lost those gifts long before radio was invented.
Yeah.
So I think, I just think we've been messed with too much, and we got too smart, so they had to take some of the benefits away from us. And that's why, like I say, the television have been clipped and different things like that have been put in front of us. And diet, they got these people not growing their own gardens anymore, and I think you're supposed to eat naturally, and I think all that affects us. All of it dumbs us down. So you got to watch for that and try to do better, because once you balance your system, you'll feel what's right. The biggest thing is balancing your fear. Understand things. Don't just go shooting something because you don't understand it. That's what a lot of hunters do. They go out hunting. They want to kill things. And we're a warring species, really. And
Yes,
that was
correct.
the negative Anunnaki would put that on us. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we have so much warring going on. All that's going to
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
for some of us.
Well, I hope so. That's yeah. Poisoning us. Yeah, right. A little twisted said, yeah, they are poisoning us. I agree. So do you have, I'm going to get back to what were some of the questions. This has been going so well. Let's see. Oh, you said that there's hybridization going on currently, you feel,
Yeah, I do.
right? And can you explain that a little bit? Whatever you feel
Well,
comfortable,
well, we all know what hybridization is, don't we? Where one species mixes with another, like a
Yes.
mule.
To
A mule
create,
is a cross between a jackass and a mare horse. Yeah. Well, that's what hybridization is. I think the Anunnaki have the ability to do that. They don't have to take bodily form. They can be just not. They can manipulate the species DNA of anything. And again, if you find the right frequency, this is science, quantum science by Einstein. You find the right frequency of anything, you can change its matter. I said earlier, and that's up to us to get back into that balancing so we can do what we're supposed to do. And I have not learned how to walk on water yet. And I can't change water into wine. Sometimes I wish I could. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. And we got to do it as a species. It's all a matter of learning how to treat all your experiences, which that's what we're here for, with love and compassion. Because if you don't treat everything, all your issues with love and compassion, you're not raising your own frequency. And we got to raise our third level density to get out. Because you go through the fourth dimension of time, and time it don't exist like we do, like in this linear time. But you go through the fifth dimension and the sixth dimension. That's where you're going to stop, and that's where you're going to have to learn more. But we're made to learn and to get into the ninth dimension. That's the 369 I'm talking about.
Yes.
My opinion only. And, but yeah, I think there's a hybridization program going on now. It has been for eons. I mean, since before we were, I don't mean you and me, but I mean the human species. Right. And that's where a lot of things came from. And that's where a lot of things are coming out now. There's things being seen and discovered all the time. And I think a lot of more of it's in the ocean than on the land. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
So much of that is unexplored, right?
Well, and I think a lot of UFOs and aliens are on this planet now. They stay out of our visual perception. See, we only see within 430 and 770 terahertz. That's our visual frequency. You get out of that frequency, you're not going to see anything else. Unless you see energy. Some people can see auras and read energy. Some animals can do that. A lot of animals can read energy. And but once you get out of that frequency range of ours, which is those terahertz, it'll appear to be invisible to you. We won't see it. So,
do you think that people? I feel that they have to be. Some people have to be able to see. Maybe their frequency is higher than others. Do you think? I mean, because you can see, somebody can see something in a picture, and then, like, for instance, this has happened to me. And this has never happened to me before in my life until now, dealing with the Sasquatch, is that I'll get a picture or a video and I'm like, oh, look, I can see it plain as day. And I show it to my husband. He's like, I don't see anything. And so I'm like, well, okay, maybe I am seeing things, but I'll show it to somebody else, not point out what it is exactly. Like, do you see something in this picture? And they're seeing the same exact thing that I am. So how do you,
well, a picture's a picture. I would think that in real life, if you see energy, like a lot of people see them cloaking, like a pixelization.
Okay.
And I know some very credible people that have witnessed that. And you can't talk them out of it. I mean, they saw that. And I mean, very credible. And so, but there has to be an answer to all that stuff. So that's why I got into quantum physics. That was the original question. What got me into it is how do they do what they do? There has to be an answer to anything. Everything's got an answer. It wouldn't be a question. So
I want to thank you, Catherine, for the super sticker. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. Now, as far as, let's see, researchers today, what do you think what are people doing right and what are they doing wrong? What would you prefer to get into first? Good news or bad news?
Well, it's all good news. It's just that some people don't use all the tools that are available to them. They're working under the classical science, which is 1687 Newtonian physics, and they limit themselves with that parameter. And they've been conditioned to think that if it isn't in the box, like most academia are, if it's not in the box they've been trained in, they're not going to go for it. So they have to stretch out and get out of the box. Like I say on a lot of people, I say it's like a parachute. If it doesn't open, it's not going to be much good to you.
Right.
It's not the fall. It's not the fall that hurts you, though. It's the sudden stop.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. But they got to open their minds up to quantum physics. According to Dr. Christopher Brer at West Texas A&M, he says everything from the atom through the cosmos works on the laws of quantum physics. We live in a third dimensional environment, which is third density, which is the laws of Newtonian physics. When Einstein said nothing go faster than light, he meant no thing. Because once you get out of the perimeter, you're not a thing anymore, you're energy. And that's, I think, there's a lot more to it, but that's where it goes. Energy and frequency, everything is frequency. You understand some of that stuff. I think if I'm talking to researchers, which I do a lot, I would tell them just open your mind up and expand you, because the science is there. It is a science. It's not like it's some woo-woo land out there. What quantum science does it answers the questions that paranormal and woo-woo have. And in my opinion, and that's just quantum science and spirituality are the same thing as far as I'm concerned. I mean, what people go to church and pray to some god if there's something. What are they doing? They're in quantum world, and that's okay. They call it whatever they want, but that's the other realm that's there. That there's all these dimensions going on that a lot of people just don't understand that they're working. They can only understand what they can see, feel, and touch with Newtonian physics, measure, and be predictable. Quantum science is not that way. It's all been established mathematically. And to establish mathematically, it has to be disproven mathematically.
Right.
And no one's been able to do that with some of these things I've been talking about. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
and it makes a lot of sense to use that. I mean, we go.
To me, it does. For these people that are out there in the woods beating on trees or screaming, if that's what they want to do, fine. But it's not getting them anywhere. It might get them noticed, but what's that going to do for them? Unless these things start interacting with you, you don't know what you're going to do. You're not learning anything. So what we learn to do is control our fear. Fear is so important because you bring into your life whatever you fear. So stop fearing and just don't fear. That's a big nut to crack. But you can not fear things. I mean, I get out in the woods, nothing bothers me unless I get bit by a copperhead or something.
Well, that's a real fear.
But I'm not afraid of it. You know what I mean? I just.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're obviously,
Well, like some guys, I got some emails today from a couple of guys who ran into a Bigfoot, and they just took off, started running away. Well, why not wait and see what's going to happen? Unless, of course, it's carrying a big stick looking for it, showing his big teeth or something.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Portlock, Alaska a couple of years ago, those guys definitely got something up there. They really were, but that whole village got evacuated in the late 40s because of this Bigfoot-like creature mangling some of the people. In fact, 3 dozen people, I mean, that's what I heard. And it's been written about in papers. It's not like it did or didn't. It did happen.
Right.
But they asked me what it would take to rehabilitate the place. And I said, you got to respect everything, respect the property. What I saw, they were overfishing it. The fishing was phenomenal there. And there was quite a production going on with the villagers. But they were going out in the woods too, and cutting down a lot of trees, a lot of timbering going on there. And I imagine if you stepped out into these people's habitat, like they were in, I think, and all of a sudden you got mangled, you got your arms tore off or got killed, that scared the whole village. They just all abandoned it because they didn't know what to do about it. But it would probably really piss it off, and he would have come back. Especially these guys I mentioned, they carried a gun because grizzly bear territory too, and they would have probably shot at it. That would also mess with it. They wouldn't like that.
Sure.
But the timbering, when I flew over in a helicopter, I noticed the timbering was really been done a lot. I mean, way over timbered. I think probably the villagers were or somebody, humanoids, were just in there timbering too much. Anyway, I got off
And
the
you
subject
said on that, that's perfect, because I was going to ask you about that. They were going to blast, call blasts, and you said don't do it.
Well, I didn't suggest it. I don't suggest that to anybody because you don't know what they're saying. They might be asking for a mate. Got to be careful.
Right.
Or you might be asking for a challenge. But they
Yes.
did it anyway, and had something happen. But anyway, I think I'm on episode 5 and 6, or 4 and 5. I'm not sure which.
Yes.
Alaska killer.
Yeah,
Bigfoot.
I'm not sure, but I saw it, and you were, I was like, oh, this is great that he, so they did. Do you think that there's still, do you think there's something is still there, that there's still?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
I do.
Let's see what else we have. I want to see if there's any more questions. I don't see any. Yeah, make sure that you put your questions for Ron in all caps. Oh, Grizzly, has Ron? Oh, I don't know if we want to get into this. Have you experienced anything with cover-ups by the federal government? I hate to
personally. No, that's okay. Not personally. You can ask me anything. I'm either no, I don't know, or I think I know, or I think I don't know.
Yeah.
But I understand. I've heard a lot of stories about that. But I believe the government knows about these things, but they can't control what they can't let out. They have to make fun of it or do something to keep it down, because they can't explain it. They make up stories and lie to you or something. It's like we now know that the Roswell, they said, was not a weather balloon, don't we? They do lie to us, and I don't trust the government at all. If you're getting too far off base onto this, I've had black helicopters fly over me occasionally, but who knows? I'm not a conspiracy freak.
Well, and
looking at me.
all the conspiracies keep coming true.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think they're totally aware of these things. I've heard a lot of stories over the years too that how the government's been involved. But again, if they can't control it,
right, then they have to. Yeah. We had a question about the smell. Some people say that there's a bad smell. Some people say not at all. Do you think that it's something that they can, project, or what do you think about that?
Well, I got a theory that some of them can project that. Either that or they just don't take baths. I don't know. Ours up there did not smell bad, and they were very close to us. We never got a bad smell. I got it one time in 1976 when we had to shoot a bear in camp, and it wasn't the powder from the shot. It was that was the last time we had the close-in interaction going on. We had one of the Bigfoots up on the ridge screaming at us, and at the same time we were hearing something tearing up our camp. Well, we didn't want that, so we looked out there, and it was a bear. So I write about this in Voices in the Wilderness, and but we skinned him and ate him next day. I don't do that again. Looks like a little person there, a big person. But we did make benefit of it. We ate his back hind quarter. But, there are berry bears up there. Berries, they eat berries and good stuff. Well, they're going to be okay to eat. It's garbage dump bears that taste bad. They're like a pig.
Yeah, right.
But a bear's olfactory sense is 20 times better than ours. And a dog's olfactory sense, that's the smeller, is 7 times better. So a bear can smell right through a can and know what's in it, or he knows if it wants it or not. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I heard this come out from a forester worker up in Yosemite one time. She said, "Don't leave we know bears appear like peaches. So we set out seven cans, and he only takes the peaches. So
Oh,
take the
wow.
peaches, so they know how to read. She's like, yeah, right. I said, no, take the labels off, and it still took the peaches.
Yeah, right.
They fell right through the can.
Yeah, we have a couple of questions. Stevie Champagne wants to know, Ron, do you think that this topic will ever be accepted in mainstream academia, or will it remain in the anecdotal state?
Good question.
Yeah.
Until they have an experience or something major happens,
Mm-hmm.
and when I say major, I mean somewhere publicly one of these things is going to come out and start talking to you and not get shot at.
Yeah. And then I think, then what? Then what? So
well, then they
sometimes
want to take blood samples and
yes.
stuff like that.
And
Because they think they're top of the line because they've got their PhDs. But I'm going to tell you, these things got way over them. And they don't want to be exposed. We have our own karma, our own experiences to live out. And we got to make our own decisions. Never tell somebody else what to do. Because we all have everything we're supposed to encounter in this lifetime. And while we've got it, the biggest thing is responding to it properly. That's what I said earlier, with love and compassion. No matter how much you want to get pissed off, don't get pissed off. Just respond to it with love and care for others. I think that's the message I'd like to leave everybody with too, for sure, because if you don't do that, you're not going to ever get out of this third dimensional environment. I believe in the recycling technique.
yes.
we have to re-embody, because you got to learn third dimension. You got to learn this. If you don't learn that, you got to recycle. You got to re-embody it another time, maybe even another place in the third dimensional. Anyway,
people need to make themselves familiar. It's a great, but it really explains so much. For me personally,
it helps you too.
Well, yeah. Brian Barber had a question. He said, if you have, if I have a group, what would further my, what would Mr. Morehead recommend to further my chances of a closer experience?
How he's in a group. Have a small group, number one.
Small group. Okay. Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And make sure you're all on the same frequency with the same motives. Not trying to shoot one or something like that. Find a habituation area where you want to habituate away far from anybody else, close to water, and not at some lake where somebody's going to walk up when you start fishing, but get away from everybody and stay there for as long as you can. Go back as often as you can and see if they'll toy with you, because they'll start cracking rocks or doing something just to see what your response is going to be. Don't shine a flashlight, a white light anyway. They don't want to be exposed. They're not supposed to interfere with us, but they do. I think they toy with us. I think the younger ones especially toy with you. And I think they're trying to learn how much they can get by with these pinheaded humans.
Yeah.
We wore these sock hats on our head up there all the time, keep our heads cold, keep warm. And maybe they thought we had a sagittal crest. Maybe they do. I don't know.
Yeah.
True. Some of them do not have a sagittal crest. Some of them do not. That's what sent me down to Peru, just to those elongated skulls down there.
Yeah, because you have a
sagittal suture.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they got just one parietal bone up there. We have two on each side, a split brain, right lane, left brain. And they didn't. They had about 30% more. And that's not cradle boarding like the Incas did. Incas did cradle board, which is put a board on each side, wrap their head so they would elongate them, thinking that. We think they did that so that they would get the same attributes that these pre-Inca people had, which is moving these huge boulders over miles, put them up on this 13,000-foot mountain, putting them together like a jigsaw puzzle, no mortar, and my gosh, we can't do that today. But the Incas, I think, were trying to do that, and a lot of cultures do that nowadays. Tutankhamun, I think, had an elongated skull, but then a lot of people say they were hybrids. They were descendants from Anunnaki. Anunnaki breeded a lot of people. They did a lot of things that they weren't supposed to do. And that fits right into biblical narrative as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah. And that was another thing that when I heard you say that, I said, well, there again, to me, that's another answer to, to a lot of questions. Katrina wants to know, why are they often seen on ridges?
Well, because that's where you can see them.
Yeah,
But you see them walking ridges. A lot of animals walk ridges, so they can see on
Yeah.
both sides. That's
Makes
well, if you're
sense.
down in the trees, you're not going to see them anyway. So,
Right.
uh,
And somebody said that Twisted had a question, but I can't find her question. So I'm sorry. Yeah, Gary said Twisted. So let me see. So let's just talk about with the what projects you have going on right now, and anything else you want to tell our viewers, anything you want to make anybody aware of before I let you go.
let's see. I got a conference going on. Well, next month, I guess it is. 1st of September up in up north someplace. I forgot. Anyway, I do these podcasts. I do these weekly. I do probably 3 or 4 a week. And that's all I do now. I don't go hunting. I don't go out in the woods very much. I had brain surgery about 7 years ago, and it kind of messed up my balance nerve a little bit. So I don't walk as good as I used to. So it keeps me off for jumping logs and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
But otherwise, I think I still got some like cognizance left.
Yeah.
But I'm getting older. This all started when I was 29. I'm 82 now, so
Yeah.
I'm just getting older, like we all are. And that's a good thing, because the older you get, the more you get to experience, the more issues come up in front of you that you can respond to, and the better you can get for your next density.
And I say, like, it's
We're all
better
gonna
than the
pass on from here
alternative, right?
into.
To stay this side of the grave,
Well, I'm not sure. No, I'm kind of looking forward to my next adventure.
Well, I mean,
Wherever it is.
yeah.
But the fourth dimension is they say the fourth dimension is time. I think we all have to get into the fourth dimension. Then you're judged whether or not you're going to have to re-embody or what's going to happen. I think that's where ghosts are seen. You can sometimes people see those if the temperature's just right, if the frequency is just right, and things like that. But anyway, it all goes on and on and on. We can talk all night on this stuff.
It's so fascinating. Yeah, I'd love to have you on whenever you want to come back on. That's great. We just want to. Where can people get your books? And Brian said, is there a way that you can send it in for an autograph? He wants to know. Yeah.
I have people ask for that, but I don't stock them here.
Okay.
They're sent directly from Amazon, and so I autograph them when I'm at these meets or when I'm in person somewhere.
Right. Well, there you go. Yeah. Yep.
However, I brought some back.
Okay.
From my last meet, I brought a few back, but I don't want to talk about that because I've had a lot of people ask for just what you're asking for, and I'd love to be able to do that, but it's such a hassle.
Yeah.
Well, it's really a hassle to package them, and I got to drive to the post office.
Yeah.
And heaven forbid somebody asks for it from out of the country, like Canada or UK or something like that.
Yes.
It costs a fortune to send that stuff.
It does, yes, and it's so much as it's just unreliable, unfortunately. So your website. Tell us what your website is, and I'll put that in the permanent.
Well, it's ronmorehead.com.
Okay.
10. And there's no space between the Ron and the Morehead.
Ron Morehead. Okay, great. And then you can buy the books on Amazon. Is that right?
Yeah, and they're all downloadable too. My 2 CDs, my 3 books, they're all downloadable, so you can download them a lot less expensive that way if you got a
Kindle
tablet or something.
Right? Yeah, the tablet. Right.
Or anything you can download one, but a tablet you can read it in the airplane or wherever you want.
Oh yeah. See, I'm like, I own Kindle.
I remember that first book, Voices of the Wilderness, comes. They're doing the documentary on that. I can't wait to see. It comes with a download of sounds. There's 24 sound bites there. That when I get to the context of the sound, when I'm talking about the sound, you can hear the sound itself. And that's on page 126, the very bottom long link. It's not my website. A lot of people click on my website, but they're only going to get a couple little sample sounds there. Anyhow.
Yeah, do that. Everybody, make sure if you don't and catch up on everything. Yeah. This has been so great, Ron. It's been such an honor. And like I said, anytime you want to come back and talk. How can people hear you said you do your weekly, like, how do we hear that? How do we, is that on YouTube?
Well, it depends on who's asking me to talk, like you, when when you post it, sometimes I get notification of that, so I can
Yeah.
put it on my website or something. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
or my
All right.
Facebook. My Facebook is Ronald J. Morehead, and
Okay.
that's my Facebook. And people can contact me through my website though, ronmorehead.com.
And you do respond, like I said, very quickly. Yes.
I
Yes.
do, and if I get it, I
Yeah,
respond
you
right
do.
away, unless I'm
You
out of
do.
town. But I
Amazing.
have to respond on my cell phone generally.
Well, thank you
Sometimes my
so much,
phone's too
Ron.
big.
Yes. I know.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Barb. I appreciate
Yes,
you
thank you. Oh, thank
asking
you
me to
so
be
much. And
on.
everybody, thank you for spending your, time with us. And this has just been fantastic, Ron. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, from coast to coast and around the world, have a great night. Thank you, everybody. Good night. Thanks, Ron.
Take care.
You too.
Thank you.
Ooh, trying it.
Well, anything else?
Nope, that's it. I'm just trying to get the, yep. No, I think that was fantastic. Yeah. Yep. So thank you very much.